Hi, this is Jake Garber from Lifeline Pet Supplies. Today I wanted to do sort of an instructional video on how to set up your Lifeline incubator here. What we have here is a large hinge door halogen unit, and we do have the built-in digital humidity system here on the right that you can see. Let's get started. When you first get your unit and unbox it, you want to get everything out, making sure that everything has been included in your unit, your mats, etc. And get everything out, make sure everything's there. On the halogen units, make sure you've got your fan cord that goes to your cooling fan. You've got your bulb. You have everything that you ordered, if you ordered additional options, etc. And like I said, just make sure everything's there. So what we want to do first, if we get everything out, is just take a towel, one of the towels, and you're going to put that in the bottom. I just like to just kind of fold it under a little bit so it fits all the way neatly across the bottom there. Then we can take one of the absorbent mats here and just fold that so that it goes into the unit nicely. I usually just fold the ends over so that it'll fit right in the unit easily and not cover up anything. So once you get that done, and you've got everything in there. Let's get this 1 second while I fold this over. Okay, so I'm folding back. I folded back the absorbent mat here so you can see. You still want to have access here to your grommets for your sensors here. The middle sensor here is where your temperature sensor is going to go. We'll get to that here in just a second. So once you've got everything inside, you can close your door back and we'll get into the controls and what you want to plug in here on the top. Now this unit itself has the digital humidity controller here on the right, temperature controller here on the left. So you have a couple different options. You can plug, each unit has its own power cord, and I'm going to undo those real quick. So you want to take the straps and the plug off of the power cord, and we can plug that into the wall here. And then the control for the temperature is going to come on here. You also have a power cord here for the digital humidity control if you order one of those units. Now if you didn't, then this temperature controller here would just be centered in the middle if you did not order the control for humidity, if you didn't add the digital humidity system. With this unit we did. I want to it's a little bit more of an elaborate setup, so I kind of want to show you. You've got two options here. Number one, you can go ahead and plug this into the wall as well and have two plugs going back into the wall, or you can take the plug coming out of this unit and plug it into the open side over here, so you've only got one cord into the wall. You have the option. This is an open circuit, so basically it is, or I'm sorry, a closed circuit, so basically it's wired all the time. It won't switch on and off. Now, as far as the sensors go, the next thing we're going to do is get everything plugged in here for what we're going to use. So the next step is to get your bulb put into your lamp in here. And for the large units, they use a 50-watt bulb here. So I'm going to open that up real quick and put that into the unit here. Now, one thing I will show you before we do that, so we can get some light in here. There's a lock-unlock button here on the right, and we need to hold that for 3 seconds until the lock goes off. Then you can turn your light on. And before I do that, I actually need to make sure that is plugged in. Okay, so that's plugged in, and it'll come plugged in your unit. I actually just didn't do it here. Okay, so now you've got your display light on. We can go ahead, before we plug, you'll see the socket in there for your bulb here. And actually, you want to wear a pair of gloves when you do this. I'm not. I should be, but I'm not. And go ahead and plug that in. And the next thing we can do, start getting the unit heated up. We want to take, this has the halogen lamp, the cord, and we want to go ahead and plug it into the H side for heating. And it's going to start heating that unit up. So you can see now the heat bulb is on and our viewing light's on. It's getting the unit warmed up. We can start there. Now on the back of this unit, on the right hand side here, we have the temperature controller. And I'm going to go ahead and undo that. So let me unscrew that real quick. This right here is your temperature sensor. You're going to want to take it, put it down into the middle grommet on the back here. I push it in and then pull it back just till it's snug a little bit. It ends up being about 2/3 of the sensor inside, and you're going to see that start to come up here. As you can tell, that's in Celsius. That temperature is going to start to gradually come up as that unit heats up inside. Now, one of the other things you would have gotten in the unit, you got an extra towel and a mat, and that is so when you're changing these out, we recommend keeping them changed at least twice a day. You've got 2 towels and 2 absorbent mats included in our units so that you can easily swap them out when you're washing them. Now, this unit here, this is your oxygen and nebulizer pack setup. I'm not going to open this one up. I've got one already open. So you want to get that open, and I'm going to show you real quick. This here is your nebulizer cup. To medicate, you can put albuterol or other medications that you want to do a mist, nebulizing mist within here. But if you're not going to use that, then we're just going to leave it empty. And that's the same line that the oxygen will feed through as well. Then what we're going to do is you've got 2 different options here. Number one, if you're not using a humidity setup, then your unit will come with this small T adapter already installed into the top here of this nebulizer cup. Now, for this unit, we are going to use it, and it's just a little bit of a different setup. You'll have that T adapter. So what you want to do is that T adapter, you just push that down onto there. It should look like that. And then the big end, which is this end here, will go right inside that oxygen port, and it just kind of pressure fits down in there. Now, when you're using this setup, we're going to hook up the digital humidity system here. This bigger end, and I'll show you here, this bigger end, you'll see that coming in, will actually go right inside of that port, and I'm going to go ahead and snug that up real quick. And that, when it's done and you pressure fit that back in there, that should be facing down so that it's directing that humidity down where the puppies are at. So we've got our unit all in there. We're letting it heat up. It's coming up to heat nicely here. We need to make sure that we plug in the extraction fan. Now on the halogen units, they hold a very precise temperature, so you're really not gonna hear the the fan for the unit kick on very often, for the simple reason that they hold such a precise humidity. However, it does provide ventilation through that opening, and it's there for protection in case that unit were to ever overheat. And I can show you if the unit, there's 2 little prongs here where that plugs in. You can see them right there, and then the end of this plugs right into there, the cord here. So I'm going to do that real quick. I am plugging that in, and you just give it a little wiggle and it should go right on there. Now, the cord for the fan is going to plug into your C side right here. That's for cooling. So if that unit were to overheat, the fan will kick on. And I can show you that real quick. I'll just give you a visual here. We'll get up here by the lamp. That thing is going to kick up. Now, I've got this set to kick off 30 degrees Celsius. So it's going to kick off at 30. Once it reaches over 31, now your fan's kicking on. Now you can hear the extraction fan cooling that unit back down. And I'll pull the sensor back into position. So we'll let that unit cool back down here for a second, and that'll kick that off. Now, once all that's plugged in, you want to make sure that you keep your cords obviously as short as possible. Now, this unit here has the humidity pump set up, and I kind of want to run you through that. It actually has 2 different sensors. It has humidification, and it'll also dehumidify. So what you want to do is go ahead and take the ties off of the cable, set them aside, off the 2 cables. And I'm going to do that here real quick. Untie those, and then we'll go back here and we'll show you where each of these sensors go. Now, coming out of the back of the humidity setup here, we've got a black sensor with a little end on it here, a little chrome end. And it really doesn't matter if this goes on the left, if it goes on the left or the right grommet. It really doesn't make a difference as far as that goes. But we're going to stick it in one of those, and then this sensor here will go in the black grommet, the larger grommet that's right here in the middle at the top. So I just push that through again, and then I just pull it back until it's snug. That came apart there. It's got a connection there. Actually, kind of glad it did that. It just plugs right back in. So now what I'm going to do is just take that and then push it right into there. There we go. Until it's about 3/4 of the way in. That's going to take humidity readings. And you're going to see, obviously, the heat is quickly drying out the unit. And this is one thing I speak with customers about. You want to add some form of humidity back into the unit. You can use this unit, and raising English Bulldogs, some people run into water puppies. One nice thing, really nice thing about these units is the halogen units, if you want to get some water off of a pup, you can stick them in there without the humidity, a lower humidity, and it will help you get some water off the pup. However, if you've got normal puppies and you don't need to do that, you want to keep the humidity level between about 55 and 65%. Now, I've got this one set for 55, and right now you can see it's working, but we don't have the humidity pump plugged in. So let's go ahead and I'll kind of show you how to do that. Now, this is the on-off right here, and I'm going to leave it off. And this tube, I'm going to set it right beside here. This tube that comes with this, I'm going to stretch it out here just a little bit so it can fit there. It will go into the end, this open end right here. Now, normally you'd have the T adapter on there and then this just coming in. You wouldn't have that open end. This end and this end here, the 2 opens here would be inside, and it's a little bit of a different setup if you're not kind of turned around, if you will. I'm going to push this on the end. Right here, it just pushes right onto the open end. You can see that here. And we've got that set up. Now, you want to use distilled water. You need to use distilled water in this. Now, it should be about 3/4 full. For this purpose right now, I am just going to leave it where it's at. It's got enough water in there to get going. I've already got it primed. You're going to plug that into, on the digital humidity controller, you're going to plug that into the P side for pump. Like I said, the other end's open. You can plug your incubator into here, your incubator power cord that comes back here that's currently plugged into the wall. That's always open, or you can plug something else in there if you want. Now, when I turn this on here, it's gonna start up, and if you've got a question of what is this here, this is the oxygen tubing that you would run to an oxygen concentrator. Feeds in through the same line. So let's go ahead and turn it on, and it's gonna prime that and get everything going there, and I'll show you the humidity here. It's running right down there inside, and it's gonna get this unit humidity inside of this unit. And you can make a small adjustment to it if you need to. I like to point it straight down or just kind of in just a little bit. And that'll gradually get that humidity up inside of that unit. And you can turn it up a little bit to kind of get it going a little bit more, a little bit quicker, and you'll see it coming up. It'll work its way around. It's a little bit hard to see here. Let me open it up just a little bit, but you can kind of see the it's more of a fogger setup, so it's not a, you can see the humidity moving around in there. It's not a wet humidity. I'm going to back this back down because we're going to it won't take long to get it there. We're going to turn this all the way down to low. And once it reaches that, it'll cut it off. Once it reaches its set point, it'll cut that humidity off. And I've got the cutoff there at 60%. That's where I've got it set. So it'll hold a 60% humidity. Within 1% is actually what it'll hold it. If it gets below 59, it'll kick on. So you got all that set up. That's going to kick on and off automatically. Like I said, here is your temperature probe. That just sits inside of here. The other input is actually for our digital humidity display. It's kind of an outside display that can sit outside the unit. This unit here wasn't ordered with one, but we do carry those in our accessories section. I kind of hope this covered everything. If you do have any questions about the unit, feel free to contact us. I would like to go ahead and run through the settings and what each one is, at least on the temperature controller. Now, these controllers are the same ones with the white sides. These are an E1000 controller that we use. It's got a lock feature here. You need to hold that 3 seconds before you can do anything to the unit. Your cool-on temperature is set 1.1 above your set point. That is a factory setting, cannot be lowered any lower than 1.1 degrees difference. So at 31.1, the cooling fan will kick on. If it drops below 30, which is what I got the heat set on, 30 degrees Celsius, if it drops below 30 degrees, then the heat obviously will kick on. So, and we can hit over. Right now it's 28.9 degrees Celsius and coming up, obviously. They're now at 29. You can see the humidity coming in. This is a really nice setup. Very accurate, nice and warm for your pups. Keeps them warm. Like I said, it's got the humidity in there. Like I said, it's a dry humidity. It's not going to get your puppies wet. You don't want a humidifier, humidity pump that's going to get your puppies wet. And this one is perfect for this type of setup. So, okay, let's go through a few more things here. If you unlock your button here, I want to show you how to change your settings. Your cool-on temperature. If I want to take the temperature up on this controller, I have to move the opposite first. So if I want to take the heat up, then in order to do so, I would need to take up the cool-on temperature first. And keep in mind that 1.1 set point. So let's say I'm taking it up from 31.1 to 32.1. When I go to move my heat, it's not going to let me take it up any more than 31 degrees because of that 1.1 difference there. So keep that in mind. Now, just kind of showing you how to change that here. These down arrows will get it there. Once you get to your set point, hit your OK button and that'll accept the temperature. So we've changed that back to 30. OK. Cool on. Let's take that back down to 31.1. Now we'll run through the settings real quick here. You want to hold this button on the right until the unlock comes and hold it for about 7 seconds. Now your F1 button. There's several different options on this controller that really aren't used for these setups. So I'm going to run through them right now. You may see them here. The first one, F1, is not used. It can be used in refrigerators, type like these controllers are multi-use controllers, but you want that set to 1. The second one, the F2, should be set to, F1 should be set to 1. F2 should be set to 0. F3 should be set to 0. And I'm just going to go next page here, show you what the F3 is. The F3 is accumulated working time after the power's on. We want that to kick on immediately, so we're gonna set that to 0. We don't want it to wait any at all. So then F4. Now F4 is your set point of how far the hysteresis, how far you want before the cooling would kick on, and I set those both to its low settings, which is a half a degree. So F4 and F5 should both be set to a half a degree. Now F6, this is something you really need to pay attention to. This is the difference from your warmest spot in your incubator. It's right underneath of the lamp. It's just a little bit warmer than these outer edges, and it needs to be. The reason is if pups get a little cool, just like in a natural environment, they would come back in and get close to the mom to get more warmth. If they got a little bit warm, they would scoot away. So this is a few degrees warmer than the outer edges, just a few. And the purpose of that is, like I said, so the pups, especially newborns, can get warmer. They can get underneath of that lamp and get warm. They can scoot away. if they're a little warmer, and lay more against the edges. You want to keep an eye on your pups. If they're bundling up in the middle and kind of on top of each other, they're probably cool, and you may want to take your temperature of your unit up. If they're hanging out more towards the sides, you rarely see them under that warmer spot, then you might want to take your temperature down. The puppies could be too warm inside of there. So every litter is different, every puppy is different. You just want to keep an eye on that, and keep an eye out for changing your temperature as far as that goes. Now, the F7 came out here. If you let it sit for so long, it will back out. The F7, and we'll go into that, should be set to 0. Basically what that is, on the halogen unit, I set it to 0, and the whole reason is that's a delay time for your compressor or your fan, your cooling, to kick on. Now, in the heat pad units, I often set that to 1 or 2 minutes, and the whole reason is if the temperature's coming up, you don't want your fan kicking on all the time, so you can take that up, and it is set in minutes for F7. You can take that up if you feel your extraction fan's coming on too much, or take it down if you'd like to do more air exchanges in the unit. So you got a lot of flexibility there with it. I set this one to 0. We don't want any delay. This unit's so accurate. We don't want any delay if it were to come up in temperature. So, okay, so the humidity's holding. You can see it kicking on and off here. We've got everything set up. Basically, this unit's ready for puppies now, or kittens, or whatever you're raising, hedgehogs, whatever you're raising. We've also got the input here for the oxygen concentrator, and I've got a few videos online you can see with an oxygen concentrator running. I don't currently have any units here. We are sold out every one we've got here, and they're shipping from our vendor, free shipping. So check us out online, www.lifelinepetsupplies.com, or you can go to our mobile friendly site at www.lifelinepetsupplies.ecwid.com. If you've got any questions, feel free to call us. We can be reached at 765-855-3100. We'd be happy to get the unit set up for you. We have multiple units ranging in base price anyway, starting out at $179 up to about $359, and you've got numerous options. We'd be happy to help you pick something out that would be perfect for you.